the jungle. They are ashamed they still they link to the Janino.
Ma'am, you don't know me.
Hate shrinks a life to a box. Service breaks the walls. I grew up 6 blocks from here.
This store, this is home.
Let me carry your groceries to your car.
Not because your words were okay, because we can choose better.
I'm sorry.
Freeze. A crowded grocery store goes dead silent. A woman points across the checkout line and spits out the ugliest words. Go back to the jungle. The black veteran she targets doesn't flinch. He turns, lifts his chin, and what he does next leaves an entire aisle breathless. Stay with me, because the next 60 seconds will restore your faith in what courage looks like in real life. It's Saturday. Carts squeak, scanners beep, and the smell of warm bread drifts across aisle 7. A man in a faded service jacket, name tape tucked, dog tags peeking beneath a grey t-shirt, waits patiently with milk, eggs, and a small American flag pin clipped to his pocket. The line inches forward. Then trouble snaps. A woman, irritated, muttering louder with every inch, explodes. She gestures at him, her voice slicing the air. The room freezes. A cashier's hand hangs mid-scan. A kid lets a cereal box thud. Phones tilt up. The veteran's eyes meet hers, calm, steady, unshaken. No yelling, no heat. Just a long inhale. And in that pulverizing silence you could hear a grape drop. Don't blink. Because right here, right now, this man is about to choose who he is. He sets his basket down as if it might break, fingers gentle on the plastic rim. No swagger. No snapback. He steps forward, not to loom, but to be unmistakably present. Ma'am, he says, voice even. You don't know me. Her mouth tightens, ready to fire again, but he goes on. He lifts his sleeve just enough to reveal a frayed patch. A unit insignia, rubbed thin by thousands of days. I'm a medic, he says. 12 years. I've carried strangers out of smoke and rain. I've held pressure on wounds until the bleeding stopped. I've listened to people when fear made the world loud. His words don't rush. They land, one by one. I grew up 6 blocks from here, he adds, nodding toward the front doors. This store was a Saturday ritual. My mom worked double shifts. We stretched every coupon. I'm home. The insult she threw hangs in the air, ugly and small. He refuses to pick it up. Instead, he turns slightly, including the aisle in his gaze. The teenager with gum, the dad with coupons, the cashier blinking back a tear. Hate shrinks a life to a box, he says. Inservice breaks the walls. He taps the flag pin, not as a threat, but as a promise. This isn't about looking tough. It's about showing up when it matters. Her grip on the cart handle loosens. The fluorescent lights seem quieter. He doesn't let her off the hook, but he doesn't shove her into it either. Your words hurt, he says simply. They're not okay. But I won't pass that hurt along. Not today. He shifts his weight, then does something no one expects. Let me carry your groceries to your car, gasps Ripple. The security guard pauses mid-step. The cashier's scanner light blinks, unmoving. He adds, not because I agree, because I choose to end it here. For a beat, the entire store hovers. Then one small nod. She releases the cart. He lifts the heavier bag and sets it in her cart, with the care of a man putting something fragile back where it belongs. The manager approaches, flushed, stammering gratitude, offering to comp his items. He shakes his head. Train your team for moments like this, he says. That's worth more. The woman's apology comes out like a rusted hinge. I'm sorry, he meets her eyes. Do better tomorrow, he replies. So will I, he pays. The aisle parts, not out of fear, but respect. A few hands clap. Others simply breathe again. At the door, he looks back once. We belong to each other, he says, and steps into the daylight, forward, always forward. He sets his basket down like it's the most delicate thing in the world. No rush, no threat. He steps forward not to confront but to be seen. Ma'am, he says, voice level, you don't know me. The store is a stage. Everyone is the audience. He lifts the edge of his jacket sleeve, revealing an old unit patch, the threads worn soft. My name is Marcus Lane. I served 12 years as an army medic. I learned how to stop bleeding, how to carry people bigger than me out of smoke, how to listen when somebody's scared and the world feels loud. A breath. Not a single phone blinks. Even the lights seem to dim. I was born 6 blocks from here, he continues. I walked these floors as a kid with my mom on a double shift. I've seen real jungles, carrying water after hurricanes, not to fight but to help. And I came back here because this is home. Because I love this place. Because I love people. That lands like a bell. That one word, people, rings through the aisle. He shifts his stance, palms open. I can't rewind what you said, he adds, eyes steady on hers. But I can choose what happens next. That's what service taught me. Pain travels, unless someone stops and sets it down. A kid near the candy rack leans closer. The cashier's shoulders loosen barely. The woman's jaw flexes, a storm passing over her face, then pausing. Marcus gestures gently, including everyone now. There was a guy once who refused to sit next to me on a transport. 2 days later, we were sharing a foxhole and a bag of stale crackers. He told me about his daughter's first steps. I taught him a song my mother sang over boiling rice. We didn't agree on much, but we watched each other's backs. He taps the flag pin on his pocket. That's what this is supposed to mean. He looks back at the woman. Your words were meant to make me small, he says, voice soft but unbreakable. I won't shrink. I'm not going back anywhere you think I belong. I'm going forward. You can come with me. A murmur moves through the line, a cautious tide. The security guard takes a half step forward, then stops, reading the room. The manager appears at the end of the lane, unsure whether to speak. Marcus reaches for the handle of her cart. He doesn't pull. He just rests his hand there, an offer. Let me carry these to your car, he says. Not because what you said is okay. It isn't. Because the only way this gets smaller is if one of us chooses to make it smaller. The woman doesn't move. Then her grip loosens, just enough to be human. I didn't mean. She starts and stops, the words catching on the edges of something old. It's enough to mean better tomorrow, Marcus replies. Start there. He lifts a heavy bag and settles it gently in the cart, like setting a fragile thing in its place. The manager approaches, eyes bright, voice hushed. Sir, thank you. Marcus shakes his head. Just make sure your team knows how to step in with calm, not panic. That helps more than you think, the aisle exhales. The kid by the candy whispers, Mom, did you hear that? A teenager lowers his phone, choosing to remember instead of record. The lights seem warmer, the store wider. The woman nods once, the smallest bow to a better self. Marcus picks up his basket again, nods to the cashier and steps back into line. No victory lap. No pointing fingers. Just a man, groceries, and a decision that changed the temperature of the room. He turns slightly so he's not just talking to her. He's talking to everyone. To the teenager by the gum stand. To the dad with the coupons. To the cashier whose hands are trembling. When I was deployed, a man once told me he wouldn't sit next to me because of my skin. You know what happened. We ended up sharing a foxhole for 2 days. I kept him awake when he wanted to quit. He taught me a song from his hometown. Marcus smiles, soft, unexpected. Paige shrinks a world down to a tiny box. Service blows the walls off it. He gently taps the flag pin on his pocket. It's not a trophy. It's a reminder. That the uniform isn't about looking tough. It's about loving loud. It's about showing up even when somebody's words try to shove you out. You can feel the store leaning in. The woman's glare flickers, confusion, shock, something like shame, fighting their way across her face. He doesn't attack. He doesn't humiliate. He dismantles the moment with dignity. I won't go back anywhere you think I belong, he says, steady as a drumbeat. I'm going forward. You can come with me, and you can hear it. The first tiny crack in the crowd's held breath. The hum of the refrigerators returns, faint, like a heartbeat finding its rhythm. Marcus keeps his voice low, steady, inviting. We don't always get to choose what hits us, he says, but we do choose what we echo. I'm asking us to echo something better right now. He nods toward the cashier. You're doing fine. The cashier blinks and nods back, shoulders dropping a fraction. To the teenager, you can film if you want. Just remember to feel too. Moments don't change because we capture them. They change because we show up inside them. He turns back to the woman. You don't have to like me to treat me like a neighbor. You don't have to know my story to know those words were wrong. But you can decide that this isn't who you are. Her lips part, close, open again. I had a bad morning, she says, voice brittle. Me too some days, Marcus answers. Bad mornings don't get to make our character. We do. He adjusts the sleeve over the worn patch, like smoothing a page. If you're in line, and you don't know what to do in a moment like this, he says to the aisle, here's something simple. Move closer to the person being targeted. Ask if they're okay. Talk to them about anything, weather, dinner plans, the price of eggs, until the tension breaks. And if you need help, call for staff. Calm is a tool. Use it. A dad with the coupons clears his throat. You got it, he whispers, almost to himself. The woman's hands loosen on the cart. Shouldn't have said it, she manages. That's a start, Marcus says. Start is a powerful word. He lets the silence do half the work. It's not heavy anymore. It's wide like a door. We all live here, he adds. We share streets and paychecks and sunlight. We can make this place smaller, or we can make it big enough for all of us. A soft exhale moves through the line. The teenager lowers his phone. The cashier squares her shoulders. The crack in the held breath widens until the aisle isn't afraid anymore. It's awake, and Marcus stands there, not as a judge, but as a man refusing to be moved backward, inviting everyone else to step forward too. Then he does something no one expects. "Ma'am," he says, "let me carry your groceries." Gasps. A cashier whispers, "Oh my God." The security guard takes one step, then stops. "Not because your words are okay," Marcus adds. "Clear enough for every corner of the store. They're not, they hurt. But I refuse to pass that hurt along. I'm breaking it right here. With you," a kid by the cereal smiles. The teenager swallows hard. The woman stands frozen, hands white-knuckled around the cart handle. For a heartbeat, nobody moves, and then she nods. Just once, small, human. The aisle doesn't cheer. It exhales. Marcus lifts the heavier bag and places it gently into her cart, like he's placing the pass down without breaking it. The store manager steps forward. "Sir, thank you for your service," and tries to comp his groceries. Marcus shakes his head. "No need. Just do me a favor. Make sure your new cashier training includes how to handle moments like this." The manager nods, grateful, humbled. The woman's voice finally surfaces, a rasp. I'm sorry." Marcus meets her eyes. "Do better tomorrow," he says. "We all can." That line lands like thunder, and mercy, he looks to the crowded aisle. "Give us a little space?" People peel back willingly. The security guard relaxes, hands unclenching. The cashier steadies her scanner and murmurs, "Lane 3 is open," and somehow it sounds like a reset button being pressed. Marcus doesn't grab the cart. He walks alongside it. "Which car is yours?" he asks. She clears her throat. "Blue sedan, row B." Their footsteps clatter softly over tile, a small parade of second chances, past stacks of oranges, and a sign about weekly specials. At the automatic doors, sunlight breaks across them. The parking lot spreads wide, carts rattling, birds reclaiming dropped chips, engines ticking as they cool. Marcus lifts a bag and slides it into the trunk, careful with the eggs, anchoring the bread on top so nothing gets crushed. He moves with a medic's precision, a neighbor's care. "I know what I said," she blurts, staring at the asphalt. It wasn't just rude. It was wrong. The words scrape on the way out, then land, solid. "I've been so angry lately. Everything feels tight. But that's on me. Anger's real," Marcus says. "So is responsibility." He places another bag, then another. "I can't control what hits me. I control what I carry forward." She watches him make order in her trunk, the simple choreography of groceries becoming a quiet lesson. "I don't want to be that person," she whispers. "Then don't," he answers. Every minute's a chance to turn. He closes the trunk gently. "Start with tomorrow." A small voice pipes up from the sidewalk, the kid from the cereal aisle, holding his mom's hand. "Mister, are you a hero?" Marcus grins, shakes his head. "Just trying to be useful." The boy nods like he's filed away a new definition of strong. The manager lingers near the door, phone already out with a notes app open. "We'll add a bystander step by step," he says. "Check on the person targeted. Offer to walk with them. Keep voices low. Call for help if needed." Marcus gives a thumbs up. "That's how you change a room." The woman reaches for the cart handle, then stops. "Thank you," she says, fragile but clear. I'll do better tomorrow." "I will too," Marcus replies. "That's the deal." He rolls the empty cart back to the corral, then heads inside to finish his own errand. Milk, eggs, that small flag pin catching a slice of sun. The aisle opens for him, not out of fear but respect. A few people clap, most just breathe easier. The cashier smiles through watery eyes. The teenager pockets his phone and lifts his chin, as if taller now. Marcus nods to the room, a quiet salute to possibility, and steps back into line. Proof that sometimes the loudest victory is the one that leaves everyone standing taller. People talk about viral moments, but there are quiet moments that change the temperature of a room, and then a neighborhood. A father kneels to his daughter's level. That's what courage looks like. A cashier wipes a tear and stands taller. The teenager pockets his phone, choosing to remember instead of just record. Marcus pays for his items. As he turns to leave, the entire aisle parts. Not out of fear, out of respect. Someone starts clapping, not a roar, not a chant, just a steady rising wave. The woman doesn't flee. She watches him go, fingers trembling, as if new words are trying to grow where the old ones lived. At the door, Marcus pauses and looks back. "We belong to each other," he says, a line light enough to carry, strong enough to keep. And with that, he steps into the daylight, forward, always forward. Behind him, the store exhales and rearranges itself. The manager tucks a note into his pocket, "Train the team." The security guard unclenches his fists and asks the cashier if she needs water. The cashier smiles, small, grateful, and scans the next carton of eggs with a steadier hand. The father buckles his daughter into the cart seat and whispers, "We help our neighbors," like a pledge. The woman stays. She doesn't hide. She slides her groceries onto the belt and clears her throat. "I was wrong," she tells the cashier, voice hushed but honest. The cashier nods. No ceremony, just a human answer. Tomorrow's a new start. And right there, under fluorescent lights and sale signs, the apology lands, not as a headline, but as a hinge. Outside, sunlight lifts the edges of everything, the parking lot, the clouded windshields, the faces that just watched something shift. Marcus walks past a row of carts, past a boy in a baseball cap, who gives him a fearless thumbs up. He returns it, a quiet salute. He is not chasing applause. He is modeling a way through. By evening, the moment has turned into a dozen small ripples. A teacher mentions it at dinner and scribbles down ideas for a Monday classroom circle about standing up without striking back. A barber repeats the story between fades, and the shop grows warmer with nods and what-ifs. In a crowded bus, a woman moves to sit beside a stranger who looks like he needs company. Two teens argue in a group chat, and one types, "Not okay. We're better than that," then leaves it there. A boundary that doesn't need exclamation points. The manager drafts a one-page guide for staff. Approach calmly. Check on the person targeted, set a clear boundary, call for support. Follow up afterward. The cashier tapes a small note to her register. Be the reason it gets better. The teenager from aisle 7 writes a single sentence at the top of his homework. We belong to each other. Before you scroll past, lean in. This isn't just a story about one man and a cruel sentence. It's a blueprint. You will meet moments like this. They might not happen in aisle 7. They might happen in your group chat, at your dinner table, on your morning commute. When they do, remember this: power doesn't always shout. It steadies its breath. It moves closer to the person who needs it. It asks, "Do you want company?" It tells the truth without venom. It carries a bag. It calls for help when help is needed. "Sir," it checks back later. "You okay?" Weeks from now, you might forget the brand of bread on the belt, the price of milk, the color of the sale sign, but you won't forget the way the room changed. You won't forget how mercy sounded when it spoke plainly. You won't forget a veteran in a faded jacket, reminding strangers of something simple and fierce. We are neighbors first. And when the next moment comes, and it will, you'll know which way is forward. If this moment stirred something in you, if it made your heart beat faster, if it reminded you that grace is a superpower, tap that like button and share this with someone who needs to see it today. Subscribe for more real, gripping stories that lift you up and light your fire. And don't just watch, be part of it. Every share is a ripple. Question for you: in Marcus's shoes, what would you say or do in that exact moment to turn a hateful comment into a powerful change? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll be reading every single one.